Hello, welcome back. My name is Kai and today I'll be showcasing a new and improved Minecart splitter. Let's get right into it. Alright, first of all, let's watch everything in slow motion. Alright, if you did not catch that, these two pistons will push out this trapdoor and this fence gate. And then what happens is that these three pistons tries to retract the redstone block and the rails. Since this one is already extended, this one remains unextended. Let's watch it in reverse now. Extremely simple. These three observers power these 6 sticky pistons, pushing the rails back into place. Right, let us watch what happens when a minecart travels through. Alright, basically what happens is the minecart will collide with the trapdoor falling through. Unfortunately, because it's colliding with a trapdoor in the block itself, it will be slightly off-center. Therefore, it will not fall straight through a one wide hole. But if you go to the opposite side, you'll see that this time it will collide on the full block side of the trapdoor. And now, it can't fall straight through a one wide hole. The only disadvantage is that when you want it to fall right through a one wide hole, it will be slightly offset. For you see, this is the slice that was selected, and this is where it fell. But if you don't need it to fall straight through a one wide hole, you select the slice, it collides with trapdoor, it falls down here. What next is you can have a minecart track to pick it up, to realign it, and push it down another one wide hole, or just carry on from there. I have a very simple decoder that's linked to the minecart splitter. So if we select this right now, it's going to select 0. I'm going to increase the speed, launches it forward. If you select the same thing again, it doesn't break, and go for one further down, everything is fine. Over here, you have a single selector. You can push it. Oh shit. No, honestly, that was not supposed to happen. Unfortunately, with the way it's designed, you need to be careful not to select any 2 stations next to it. So let's say if I need to select this, I'll need to select something else, and then back to this. I'll probably come back to design a better single selector in the future, but for now this is all I have. And finally, we have a different version. This one is hidden, so you don't see anything while on the inside. And if you select this, now again, it is quite hidden. Unfortunately, I can't get rid of the rails on that side, and then, well, you're still gonna have a hole on the opposite side. It's very similar. Right, so I actually designed 3. So you have the first version, the hidden version over there, and then just an intermediary. Right, first of all, this one, which I use for most of the builds over there, is 5 by 6. Okay, so basically what happens is that when this node block is powered, or when the power is sent to the rails, what happens is that these observers will power these pistons, pushing the trapdoor and the fence gate over. As you can see, it only affects one slice. Okay, now for this observer here, so it gets powered by this rail, powers this block, which QC powers this and this piston. That meaning that all 6 of these pistons will fire. So let's just watch that again. Extremely quickly, but when the piston head is extended, when the observer is down here, it will pulse these 6 pistons. But since those 2 are already extended, this will not extend and everything will be fine. Now again, in the opposite direction, these 2 pistons here will try to push, but there's nothing to push, so it'll be fine. And what happens next is that these pistons will push the observer down. It'll take 1 tick for the observers to turn on, which gives it just enough time for that piston to retract and these 3 rails to be pushed back into place. Excellent. Over here we have an intermediate design. With that, having to pull the rails, there is a chance that it can break. This one can break still, but it's much less likely. Sorry, forgot to mention. It only breaks when you accidentally power either these pistons or power like 2 slices too quickly in succession. However, this one should be completely fine because it only does with pushing. Alright, let's watch it in action. Okay, and back again. So in this case, these composters only give a power level of 1. And when this observer powers this block, it QC powers this block, and the center block there. What happens is that these composters get pulled up, provides a power of 1 down here, making these 6 pistons push forward. So what happens is that when these 3 gets pushed forward, if I can't really do anything right now, let's take 3. Alright, and now tick stat 2. As you can see, this observer powers this block, QCing powering these 3 pistons. It's gonna pull the composters up. Oh yeah, so another thing that's gonna happen is that this will be QC'd again, powering these 3 pistons. It's gonna pull up. It fires, but it's fine. Okay, now in 1 tick later, these redstone lines will get powered, pushing these 6 pistons forward. Okay, now you can see it's trying to push it forward, and now it's all forward. Ooh, sorry, I messed up design a little bit. Alright, so now that these pistons are forward, the trapdoors are in place now. And I forgot to mention, since this piston was QC powered from that block there, it's going to spit out this redstone block here, creating a stopper over here. So this acts, the way it stops the minecart acts very similarly to that. Yeah, that's it. For retracting, it's basically the same. These pistons get retracted first, and then that gets powered. I'm gonna unfreeze, and everything is fine. Over here, we have the largest version of the minecart splitters. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it any smaller. Okay, this one is much more complicated than how the rest works. It is also 8 by 6 long, so it's quite large. Okay, I'm gonna have to tick freeze. Alright, first round, nothing happens. Okay, now let's power these node blocks here, which go through all the way. I'm just gonna power. Am I off? Start. There you go. Okay, so what happens is that it's gonna power 3 node blocks all across the side here, and this one too. What happens is that this piston gets QC'd, and all the pistons here will get, well, the pistons on the side will get a 2 redstone tick pulse, so meaning it's gonna extend and it's gonna retract. But this piston here is going to push this block down, preventing this observer from powering the 2 pistons. So the center column will only be 1 ticked, a 1 redstone tick pulse. As you can see, so now it's fully extended. I'm gonna go back to 2. Actually, I think that's all. 1, there we go. And so what has happened is that the blocks have been spit out over here, but these two sets have been retracted, and everything is fine. Moving back to normal is very simple. It's basically exactly the same. I shall unfreeze. It tries to extend, but it extends and retracts. And what happens is that these 6 pistons push it back into place. And yep, that's all. That's it. Thank you. Have a nice day.